Hello and welcome to this tutorial. So this is going to be for those of you that are a little bit newer to the industry and probably fear infills a little bit, because it is something that many new technicians are frightened of, and it's something that actually you don't really get trained in your foundation courses. They kind of just let you go out on your own, and if you get a client that comes back and you don't know how to correctly do an infill, it can be a little bit daunting. But actually, when you get more experience, infills are an absolute breeze, because if your client's been looking after their lashes and cleaning them, and if you don't know about cleaning, go and watch one of my other videos on cleaning. So if your client has been cleaning her lashes and she comes back when she's due for her fill and hasn't left it 4 or 5 weeks for the lashes to fall out, then it is an absolute breeze, because all you've got to do is a little bit of prep work and top the lashes up. But there is a little bit of misunderstanding how we should go about doing infills, and it's amazing how many people come on my courses, experienced therapists, that are still using glue remover or debonder to remove the lashes. And what they're doing is they get their little blob of debonder and they're going in with a bit on a micropore brush and a bit under there and rubbing it on those lashes to get them to come off. This is incorrect, okay? It is messy, it is time consuming, it is probably going to get onto the other lashes and then cause the retention of those to be poor, because the debonder starts to break the lash glue down over the weeks and the lashes will come out. And it's just not easy for you, okay? There is a really simple way to remove lashes that have grown out or twisted, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So it's called the peeling technique, okay? And then we're going to be pretty much just peeling the extensions off the natural lash with no damage whatsoever, a bit like we peel a banana. So first of all, you have to have applied your extension correctly to start off with, okay? And that means, and we're going to do this ever so quickly, okay? I've got my glue ring, I'm going to grab my extension, and I'm just going to show you what I'm actually going to be doing here. That means that when I go into my glue ring, okay, I grab a tiny amount of glue. I literally go in 1 millimetre, okay? Can you see? 1 millimetre of glue. And I would place that on to my natural lash. So like you can see, this is where, if you haven't done your full set correctly, your infill is going to be a nightmare. 1 millimetre of glue only, okay? We do not need to dip in our glue and grab blobs, okay? We do not need to approach the natural lash and swipe on the natural lash like many of you were taught, okay? Old school technique. Now we have such good glues that when we come straight in with our right amount of glue and we place directly where we want it. I call in land the helicopter on the egg. So your helicopter is your lash and your egg is your natural lash, okay? So you're coming with your extension, almost like a helicopter, landing straight on it, and you land gently as not to push the lash away. We don't need to force it down. 1 millimetre of glue, so important. Any more than that, you will start coating all of the natural lash and you will cause damage, okay? Glue coated around a natural lash will cause that lash to become brittle, and that's when you start seeing snapping of natural lashes. And I used to see a lot of snapping when I was a new therapist, probably because I was using lashes that were too thick, 0.2, 0.25, okay? But also because I was running the whole of the glue up the natural lash like I was told, and it was coating that natural lash and causing it to become brittle and causing it to snap, okay? It also meant that I couldn't get these blimmin' lashes off at an infill because the whole natural lash was coated with the glue. So now I'm going to show you at an infill how you would remove a natural lash, an extension off a natural lash that had grown out or twisted, and it is so very simple. So I've got my 2 tweezers, and it doesn't matter which one you use here, okay? I am going to grab the tip of the extension with 1 tweezer, okay? And I am going to bend it back to me. Can you see how I'm bending it back? Now if you look, you'll be able to see how this natural lash here is now exposed, because I've only got 1 millimetre contacted with the natural lash. I don't need any more than that. Our glues are so good these days. That's all we need. So now that I've bent him backwards, he has exposed that natural lash. Lovely. I grab the tip of the natural lash with my tweezers, okay, and I go from left to right, and I pull one left and I pull one right ever so slowly, and that will come off, Okay, now if you're practicing this on a mannequin head, and I advise that you do go and practice before you go on a real client, your practice lashes will probably kink a little bit. It's because they're plastic, okay? When you do this on a real person, the natural lash should not kink. It will not kink if you've used the correct amount of glue. If you do this and the natural lash is kinked or snapped after you've done this, you've been too hard or you've used too much glue. So go and set this up, okay? 1 millimetre of glue on your extension only and place it on the natural lash, the mannequin head, and then come back and do what I'm going to do now, which is going along, grabbing the tip of the extension, bending it back to expose the natural lash and peeling from left to right. I always peel from left to right as a health and a safety aspect. If I was to peel up and down and I was to slip, watch what could possibly happen. I could stab that client, okay? Because sometimes these little lashes are really stuck on and we have to give a good old tug, okay? So if you slip, you run the risk of stabbing the client. So if you make sure that you go from left to right, because this tweezer's in my left hand, he's going to go left, and because this one's in my right hand, he's going to go right. Left to right, ever so slowly, and there you go. And you can see, this is really how quick it actually is when I'm doing this set on a person, when I'm doing an infill procedure. I can remove every single lash like this if I wanted to. I wouldn't if I was doing a fill removal. I would obviously use debonder. But at an infill, this is how you will do it. Okay? So simple. Just grabbing the tip and peeling it back towards me. Look how I'm bending it back. Okay, you've got to get that bend on it, so you're almost bending it back towards the eyelid. Okay, it will flick that natural lash out and you will see it. So like you can see, this is how important it is that at your first initial set you're not using too much glue. If all of this glue was coated up this natural lash, it would be stuck all the way to the extension. There's no way I can get that lash off. Okay, if it had a gap at the bottom, possibly I could pull it, but if you've got it glued the whole way, that means that removal will be an absolute nightmare. So ensure that you've got the little lash popping out from the back, like so. So we're going to grab him, bend him forwards, grab the lashes and pull apart. And it really is as simple as that. So this is a little bit of homework for you to go and practice this, okay? So go and get your lashes, okay? If you like the look of this lash palette, we do sell them in our shop, Eyelash Excellence. I've got loads of these. They're absolutely great for working safely and cleanly off the back of your hand. But go through and place your extensions on, okay? Work on your minimal amount of glue. And this is what I do with my students on the course, okay? I get them to go and put all the lashes on. So I get them to spend about 10 minutes just placing lashes on the mannequin head, and then I get them to remove them all off, because once they've done that, I know that they're then going to be confident at an infill when a client comes back to remove any lashes. And at an infill, that's all you've got to do. You give the lashes a little brush through, you tweeze through for any stickies, you peel off any lashes that you don't like the look of, twisted or grown out. You then give a little bit of a cleanse. Remember, your job is not to clean the lashes, it's to cleanse them. It's your client's job to clean the lashes before she comes to you. You wouldn't turn up and have to have a pedicure and not clean your feet, would you? It's the same as your lashes. You expect your clients to be keeping them clean between their fills, and especially the time they come before the appointment. And then you go back into relashing after you've given it a little cleanse. Your prep should take you no more than 5 to 10 minutes at an infill. If it's taking longer, that's not right, okay? And just remember, go and watch the aftercare video, because it teaches you how clients should be cleaning their lashes. They're coming back with loads of makeup in there. Again, your job's not to clean. Take them off. Take those lashes off and charge that client full price for that appointment for removal, and book her back in when you can next get her in. Because clean lashes are a health and safety issue. You know, we've got to protect our eyes, and also it needs to be simple for you to be able to infill those clients when they come back. And the less prep that you have to do on their lashes, the more time they get to have their lashes applied. Okay, so like I said, go and practice this, do your homework, go and place it on your mannequin head, and then go along, take them all off, and then you can transfer it onto a real person, and it will make your infill so much easier than if you were using glue debonder.